So have you ever just like wanted to start reading fantasy slash romantasy, but you just didn't know where to start? You know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, if the answer to that is no, I don't care because I'm still making this video, okay? Today, I'm gonna give you the ultimate romantasy reading guide. I feel like I'm pretty versed when it comes to the romantasy world, but you know what? I might not be, but I'm still gonna tell you what I think. So without further ado, let's get into today's video because we have a lot to discuss. Okay, first we're gonna talk about some books that are romantasy, but the romance is very mild. So if you're a person that doesn't like reading a lot of spice or doesn't necessarily want their whole plot to be revolved around romance, these are still gonna have romantic plots, but they're not gonna have that much spice. We're gonna start off with these. Powerless by Lauren Roberts, and there's also Reckless that recently came out in the series, and there will be one more book, I believe, that is coming out sometime next year, I think. I know that these books have a lot of controversy on Book Talk. I personally absolutely devoured both. I loved Powerless from literally page 5. Like page 5, I knew immediately this was going to be a 5-star book. It's so funny. The banter is there. The fantasy is there. It's not too difficult to get into their world. Like the world building is not boring. Just honestly a 10 out of 10 book all around. Same exact thing with Reckless. I cannot wait for the next one. Next, you have Once Upon a Broken Heart series now. First of all, this series lives rent-free in my head, literally 24/7. I laughed, cried, sobbed. I literally went through 10 stages of grief while reading these books, and I would not have it any other way. First, you have Once Upon a Broken Heart, then you have The Ballad of Never After. Did make me cry, and I was like, okay, I cried, now I'm finally getting my happily ever after in A Curse for True Love, right? Fucking wrong! I sobbed even more. Did I get a happily ever after? Yes! But the way I got there was a fucking journey, all right? And many people say that you have to read Caraval before reading these series. Meanwhile, I did read Caraval before reading these. I literally don't think it's necessary. It does, I guess, spoil a little bit of Caraval for you in these books, but not really. And if you just want to read Once Upon a Broken Heart and you don't really want to read Caraval, that's how I was, just fucking skip it, okay? Just fucking skip it and read these books. These literally have even less world building than Powerless and Fearless. Like, there's almost no world building, if I believe correctly, but throughout all 3 books, I was so freaking entertained, and it is still fantasy, and there is a very big romance plot throughout all 3 of these books, but there's absolutely zero spice. Next, we have Lightlark and Nightbane. If you guys follow me on TikTok, you guys know I fucking rave about these books all the time. First, you have Lightlark, then you have Nightbane, and the third one comes out either end of this year or beginning of next. I'm pretty sure the next book is the last one. I might be wrong, but I need it, okay? I need it more than I need my next breath. So once again, the world in these is set up very easily. Like every 100 years, there's like an island that hosts deadly games. Yeah, the whole book pretty much revolves around that. And there is a pretty big romance plot that is still unresolved. Anyway, I absolutely devoured them and left 0 crumbs behind. Now that we've read those, okay, you're not a beginner to the romantasy anymore. You've read all the YA books and you're like, Yana, I need spice. I am sick and tired of reading the silly little children's book. I need some real shit. And that's where you're gonna pick up this. Yes, we're gonna read ACOTAR. If you have not read ACOTAR by this point, first of all, I am so fucking jealous. Second of all, what the fuck are you doing with your life? What are you doing? Trust me when I tell you that this series will change the trajectory of your whole entire life. You're not gonna know what to do with yourself because I have read these books over 2.5 years ago, and I can tell you right now, I think about them daily, weekly, sometimes even hourly, okay? It's an addiction that I don't want to get rid of this addiction, actually. These books will have spice. And you know what? Surprisingly, that is so not even the best part about these books. The plot is so fucking good. The spice didn't even need to be there. I mean, the fact that it is there, I am eternally grateful. But if there was no spice, I would still be talking about these books, okay? You have A Court of Thorns and Roses. Mine is like the limited edition. A Court of Mist and Fury, this book right here will single-handedly change your life. A Court of Wings and Ruin. Unpopular opinion, but A Court of Frost and Starlight was like such a good fucking book. I don't know why everybody hates on it. It was so cute. Finally, you have A Court of Silver Frames. Once again, like I'm telling you right now, drop everything you're doing and go read these, okay? I'm dead ass, like so serious right now. Now listen, after you have read ACOTAR and you feel empty on the inside, you feel like your heart has been ripped out, this is probably a good time for you to pick up Fourth Wing. Fourth Wing and Iron Flame, the third book comes out end of January, which once again, can't fucking wait. Masterpiece. Absolutely exceptional fucking books. Don't care what anybody says. You have Fourth Wing, you have Iron Flame, you start with this one, and then you go into this one. This is the fucking big boy, okay? And this, I'm out of breath because I ran to my bookshelves to get these. Very heavy romance, but also very heavy fantasy, especially in book 2. Like there was so much going on at some point. I was like, wait, like I cannot fucking keep up. Too much is happening, but absolutely love this. Next, we're gonna move on to this one. This is a complete series. We have, sorry, wrong order. We have The Serpent and the Wings of Night. Then you have this like little novella in between, 6 Scorched Roses. And then you have the finale, The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. Now, I have read these a while ago, okay? Maybe like a little bit over a year ago, I think. I don't remember when I read them. Do I remember what these books are about? Like, honestly, like, not really. I really don't remember. I read them and I remember that I had a blast reading them. I rated these 5 stars, but can I tell you the plot? No, but I remember the spice was on point. The plot was also on point. But, you know, it kind of was one of those that just slipped my mind. But I do know that this was worth the read. Now that you have been reading a lot of fantasy, you can finally start to sprinkle in a little bit of Aaron Warner. We have the Shatter Me series, which is the biggest series we've talked about this far. There's a lot of them, okay? You have Shatter Me, Unravel Me, a little novella, Find Me, Ignite Me, Restore Me, Defy Me, Unite Me, Imagine Me, and Believe Me. Listen, I have read these so freaking long ago. I've actually have read these before I even had BookDoc, and everybody on BookDoc in my comments always ask me to read these, and I'm like, I've literally already read them. I just didn't have an account. That's why you don't know about it. But this is one of those books that's like the plot stuck with me. I still remember. I don't remember like obviously everything that happened, but I remember the gist of it, and I do remember devouring this whole fucking thing. So it is a romantasy once again. So she pretty much has this like disease. I don't remember what it was, but she has this like thing where she can't touch anybody, and anybody she touches, I'm pretty sure like dies, but he is the only one she can touch. And then that's kind of like how the story begins, and then the rest is history. Now guys, I think it's time. I think the time has finally come for you to read Throne of Glass. Here's the proof that I did read every single one of them. They're all tabbed. This is definitely gonna be the biggest fantasy series we have talked about this far, but it's not the biggest one of this video because we have a finale coming. Don't worry. You have Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Now listen to me. If you read ACOTAR and immediately go into Throne of Glass, I don't think that's a good idea. I really don't. If you read Throne of Glass and then go into ACOTAR, that's better. And here's my reasoning to why. Because when you read ACOTAR, if you're not a fantasy reader, but you're more of a romantasy reader like me, okay? If you read ACOTAR and then immediately go into Throne of Glass, you're gonna be like, whoa, what the fuck, okay? Because you don't get romance in this book. Actually, romance in these books isn't even the main plot. It's not the main plot. I will die on that hill. There's so many other things that are happening besides romance that romance is kind of like on a back burner. You don't even get to anything really that much until book 5, I believe. So you have to get through a lot of world building, a lot of story setting. You have to get through a lot of shit before you even get to romance. So if you're getting into this series thinking you're gonna be reading smut and pure smut, do not. This is not ACOTAR. ACOTAR was very heavily romance based. This is very heavy fantasy based, which is why I would recommend you read these books after you've read a lot of fantasy, after you've seen what the world building looks like, because in these books, the world building is nothing like what you've read before. Mine are like limited edition covers, which is why they look like this, but I just have like these normal covers. Now, there's a couple of things that I do need to mention. Assassin's Blade is a prequel, and sometimes people say that you have to read it first. Sometimes somebody says that you have to read it third or fourth. Anyway, the order of this book within the rest of them jumps around. I am here to tell you that you must be reading this first, okay? This sets up the story so fucking well. You're already gonna know some of the characters. You're gonna know their backgrounds, because I've read it both ways, okay? I have DNF'd the series the first time I read it, so I read it both ways, so I fucking know. First experience, okay? The first time that I read the series, I read this one as a third book, I believe after Queen of Shadows, and I was very confused. Reading it after Queen of Shadows was great, but reading it before Throne of Glass was exceptional. That's all I have to say. Then you're gonna read all the books in between, okay? And once you get to these two bad boys, you have Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn. You're gonna tandem read them, meaning you're gonna read these two books together because they are happening at the same exact timelines. So if you read Empire of Storms and then you start reading Tower of Dawn, at the end of Empire of Storms, it cuts off in a huge fucking cliffhanger, okay? So then you're gonna go all the way back to the beginning in the timeline, and you're gonna start Tower of Dawn. So if you want to do that, then do it. But personally, to me, Tower of Dawn was fucking boring. The only reason I got through this book is because of this one. So if you've read all of those books and you're like, Yana, I've read all of that, what's next? Here is the finale. Where do I even fucking begin with these series? You have Zodiac Academy. This is the biggest series by far. I'm not even gonna bring all the books. I will put a picture of myself holding all the books right here so you could see just how thick all of them are and just how ginormous this series is. And honestly, if this series was like 20 times bigger, I would have still read it. I can't even get into this because this is too fresh for me, okay? Every single book that we've talked about until this one, I have read a long time ago, okay? None of those were recent reads. This, on the other hand, I read this 2 weeks ago, okay? I read this 2 weeks ago, and I am still not okay. Every single book I have read since this was mediocre at best. And you know why? It is not book's fault. It's mine. Actually, you know what? It's not my fault. It's this book's fault. There's simply not enough words in an English dictionary to describe to you what these books mean to me. Ever since finishing the series, every single day I miss being in this world. Every single day I'm just like, maybe I should go back and read just one chapter from any random book just to fucking feel something, okay? These books will consume you. They will absolutely take over your life. You will not sleep, breathe, or eat because all you're gonna need are these books. And I am telling you right now, it will be the best experience you will ever experience. It's gonna be the greatest journey you have ever went on. I would give a lot of things to be able to read these for the first time again. Some of the books in the series are gonna be very thick. For example, you have book 8 and book 9. Pretty sure book 9 is a little bit over 1,000 pages. On the paper, it's 760 pages, but on Kindle, I'm pretty sure it was like 1,400. I actually don't even want to look at book 9 because just remembering the epilogue, just the amount of heartbreak and misery you're gonna go through to get to this end is gonna be so fucking worth it. Do you hear me? Do you fucking hear me? And let me tell you one more thing. The epilogue in this book is not like any other epilogue you have ever read. This gives you the complete and utter closure that you will need. The epilogue is so fucking good. It's one of the best epilogues I have ever read. It's kind of an epilogue like The Addicted / Calloway, Some Kind of Perfect. That's an epilogue book. Meanwhile, this is not an epilogue book. You get an exceptional epilogue at the end. But after you do indeed finish Zodiac Academy and you're like, Yana, what's next? I need to move on. There's nothing next. There's nothing next. This is it. You will never be moving on. Just like me. We can talk about it, that's fine. But I don't know how to move on. There is no moving on until maybe Sarah J. Maas will bless me with another book from ACOTAR. I will just be silently sitting here and staring at my Zodiac Academy on the shelves and wish that I've never read these books, so I would have something to look forward to. Anyway, the ending was kind of sad and I'm really sorry about it, but you know what? I just have very strong feelings about these series. But all in all, I think if you have been trying to find a sign for you to start reading Romantasy, this is it. I'm your sign. Do it. It's the best shit out there. You get fantasy and romance combined. Please do let me know what Romantasy books you guys would recommend me to read, because you know what, maybe one day I'll find something even better than Zodiac Academy. Do I believe that? Absolutely not, but you know what, never say never. So please do let me know if you have any recommendations of books that make you go absolutely feral. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed today's video. Don't forget to follow me on BookTok for more up-to-date books, to follow my journey post Zodiac Academy, to see what I'm reading now, and then also don't forget to follow me on Instagram for more day-to-day content. I mostly post my dog on there, okay? That's it. And I'm gonna go cry about the fact that I won't be able to read any of the books that I mentioned in today's video for the first time ever again, and I will see you in the next one. Bye! Oh, hi, Puppets. Hi. Oh, yes, hi. Are you so sad because mommy won't be able to read the books for the first time ever again too? Would you want me to read them to you? I'll read them to you out loud. Are you serious right now?